Okay, today's Q&A is about kashering, and the person wants to know, just give me a basic outline, an overview of why and how we kasher things. Just the basics. So, the answer is that if you use a piece of equipment, a utensil, for something that was not kosher, or milchigs, or fleishigs, or chametzik, etc., something that has something that negative to it, and you want to use it for kosher food, or you want to use it for Pesach, etc., then the first thing you have to do is get rid of anything that's not any of the residue that's on that that's left on that utensil. That's the first thing. In addition, if that utensil, all the food were hot, when we say hot in this context, we mean it's over 120 degrees Fahrenheit, then tam or taste of that non-kosher food gets absorbed into the metal or the plastic or whatever the material this thing is made of. That tam has to be purged from the utensil. We have to get it out before we use it for kosher food. And the process we use to remove that tam, to get the taste out of that's absorbed into the walls, we call that kashering. Now, there are ways that tam could be absorbed without heat. If a liquid sits in a container for more than 24 consecutive hours, that's called kavush. But that's when that happens and how we kasher from it, that's not for today's Q&A. Today we're talking about more traditional blias of tam, where tam gets absorbed through heat. Now, the most common way we kasher is called hagala, and we use that when the utensil either absorbed tam off the fire, like imagine if you stuck a fork into a hot piece of treif meat, or the tam was absorbed with a liquid, where there was liquid in the utensil. Like, for example, if you cooked a non-kosher soup in a pot, so there was liquid in the pot. So hagala, the short version of what hagala is you have to bring a pot of water to a boil, and then submerge the non-kosher or the chametz, etc., item into the waters one at a time. That's for things that can go into a water. When we're talking about like a counter or a sink, then we carefully pour that boiling water over all the areas, carefully of all the spots. It's the same idea. It's a little bit different, but same kind of idea. Now, there are two prerequisites for hagala. First, the utensil has to be perfectly clean. And second is, the utensil has to have not been used for 24 consecutive hours before we start the hagala. Additionally, you can do hagala on metal, stone, and many other materials, but you cannot use it for ceramic, china, porcelain, brick, glass, and other things that are considered cheres. Those things were not allowed to kasher. There are different opinions about whether you can use it for plastics and other synthetic materials, and that you talk to your rabbi about which position you should take on that. Now, there's another type of kashering, not hagala with water, but rather this is hagala just with heat, without water. It's called libun kal, and we use that to kasher the interior of an oven. So first, the oven has to, of course, be clean. The oven has to not be used for 24 hours, and then you turn it up to 550 Fahrenheit for an hour. And now that's enough to kasher the oven. Now, you could use libun kal on a home oven, where you always put the food in a pan, and you never put the food right onto the surface or the grates, etc. You can't use it for a barbecue grill or a pizza oven, where you put the food right onto the cooking surface and you don't use a pan. In those cases, libun kal would not be good enough. The kashering that needs is way more complicated, not for today. Now, if you do a full temperature self-cleaning cycle on an oven, that qualifies as not even better than libun kal. We call that libun gomer. And that works even if the oven is not perfectly clean, even if it was used in the past 24 hours, even if the food had direct contact with the grates. So self-cleaning does a super job and does this thing called libun gomer that kashers basically just about anything. Okay, so this has just been a quick overview of the halachas of kashering. For details, you should definitely speak to a rabbi. You could watch videos that the series she's prepared, or other people who have written, more extensive guides to explain to you the details of how to kasher different items.